holidays are supposed to sparkle, but let's be real, they can also feel heavy. Between the pressure to be cheerful, seasonal stress, and everything else life throws at us, this time of year can stir a lot of mixed emotions. So today we're keeping it honest and compassionate. Joining us is Dr. Davina Robinson-Knowles, a psychiatrist and mental health wellness expert, here to break down why the holidays can feel so complicated and how we can take care of ourselves in healthy, hopeful ways. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me again.
It's great to have you here with us, and happy holidays, compliments of the season to you as well. So let's start here. The holidays are supposed to be the happiest time of the year, but for a lot of people, they're really not. So tell us, why is the season such an emotional trigger for so many people?
So emotions, they go up and down. And so for a natural response like grief is something that we all experience. And grief is just a fancy term for loss. And a lot of people associate it with the loss of a loved one. But grief can also come in loss of finances, so losing a job, or a loss of a relationship. So some people are facing divorce. And so as a psychiatrist, we look at the different stages of grief in terms of anger, denial, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And so some people experience the highs and the lows, and some people experience the different emotions, but in different waves. And so we look at all of those phases, and we try to navigate those spaces appropriately. And so with the holidays, sometimes those are triggering events. So you're used to going to your grandmother's house and having a nice home meal, but that's where you're faced with the reality of that loss of that loved one. So those triggering events can spark emotions. And so coping with it is very important.
Understandably so. And there's so much pressure to look happy, to feel happy, to be happy during the holidays. How does this kind of emotional expectation affect people's mental health as well?
So that's a very good point, because we're expected to be a certain way, but establishing your boundaries, making sure that you put yourself first, and navigating your emotions, being valid in having these emotions is important. So knowing that being sad is okay and having fun, so you can have two things happen at the same time. And when you realize that you're having these negative emotions, finding those outlets, those safe spaces to have conversation, communication, be loved on. But it's okay to say, I need a space to step away, maybe talk to a mental health professional and get the help that I need.
So what are some of the signs that someone might be struggling silently, even if they seem to be fine on the outside?
So a lot of times it changes in your behavior. So if this person is typically very social, very bubbly, the life of the party, and now they're more reclusive, they want to be alone, they don't want to be involved in anything. If they're sleeping a little bit more, if there are changes in appetite. So just if you notice these subtle changes, there may be some red flags to get the help that they need as well.
And for people dealing with grief, loneliness, financial stress, or burnout, what are some of the practical things that we can do to make this season feel more manageable for them?
I know it's very easy to get caught up in buying the gifts and the things that you need to get for your loved ones. The kids need X, Y, and Z, the latest thing. But memories are important, having those emotional attachments, because I think that there's a new thing online where they're asking kids, what did mom and dad get you last year for Christmas? And a lot of them can't tell you, but you ask them, what did you do last year in terms of the family vacation or the outing or whatever memorable activity you did together? And more times than not, they're able to tell you exactly what that looks like.
To help persons that are still having a difficult time, like different ways that we can support our friends or families that, still be struggling this time.
It's good to validate emotions. It's okay to say that it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to remember. Having traditional things is good, and making new traditions is even better. So having the person in mind, maybe setting a plate for that person you may have lost during the season. So not necessarily negating the loss, validating their emotions, because feeling sad is an emotion that is okay to have, but making sure that that person feels loved and appreciated is also important.
And for anyone who is watching today and may not be feeling the holiday spirit, what would you say to them in this moment?
I think, like I said, feeling those emotions is fine. It's okay to feel sad, but it's okay to also get the help. So talking to a mental health professional is okay. Going to the beach, we have 700 islands. And so a lot of times they say, you know, I live where you're vacation. So take that in. Going to the beach is very therapeutic. Listening to the waves, listening to the ocean, seeing the blues, having those happy thoughts and happy memories is very important too. And it's okay to talk to somebody if you're not feeling that you have enough of the tools yourself to get through that emotion.
Well, Dr. Robinson-Knowles, thank you so much for your honesty and your insight and your warmth. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us, and they are definitely helpful tips that all of us can take with us throughout this holiday season. So thanks so much again.